for August 24th. Please rise for the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilwoman Burnham?
Here.
Councilman Zubrich?
Here.
Councilwoman Morgan?
Here.
Councilwoman Schwabenbauer?
Here.
Councilman Taylor?
Here.
Councilwoman Evans?
Here. Sunshine State, please.
Let the minister reflect that in compliance with Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, Open Public Meetings Act, the notice of this meeting has been provided by notifying the Asbury Park Press, the Two River Times, and the Star Ledger, but placing notice on the bulletin board and filing the same with the Borough Clerk on January 2nd, 2016.
Thank you. Motion to suspend the regular order of business. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi. We have, normally we take checks from people, but now we're going to be giving out checks. So it's better. Thank you for coming. 2 years ago, I was privileged to start what hopefully is tradition, which is the annual Mayor's Charity Ball. And last year, many people said we were going to be able to fit the people in a telephone booth. But last year it was sold out through the extraordinary efforts of some really fabulous people who were here that were on the initial committee. I know Councilwoman Morgan was on the committee, as well as Barbara Boas was here, and Debbie Marks. Both Debbie and Barbara are on the Board of Trustees, along with my predecessor, former mayors. There are no Mayor McKenna. But we were very successful last year raising a lot of money for two wonderful charities. And we chose, as the Board of Trustees, charities for this year. And as a result of the success that we had in May, the first weekend in May, and after paying the bills and after having some reserves for next year, I'm pleased that the board has approved the distribution of funds for charities this year also. The primary charities were two extraordinary organizations, Lunch Break as well as HABCOR, and they will both be receiving a check for $12,000 each as a result of the evening's program. So that's a distribution of $24,000 to what I said then and still repeat today are extraordinary charities that do a lot of great work. And we actually partnered in doing some of the administrative stuff with the Red Bank Board Borough Education Foundation. So for their kindness, at least partnering up and doing some of the work, the board has decided to grant a small allocation of $1,000 to the charity, to the Red Bank Foundation. And again, it was not requested by them, but we appreciate the kindness of the foundation and also the good work that they do. So I know we have some representatives. I know that I was with Gwen Love from Lunch Break on Saturday, witnessing the Tournament of Champions, the hottest day that we had in the area in the month of August anyhow, on Saturday morning. And I'm really happy to see that not only Lunch Break had its wonderful softball team, but one of the primary players is another recipient, and of course, you know, we got the best baseball player at HABCOR here tonight, who I saw you sliding into that first base. You were doing okay there, Steve. It's wonderful to see the interaction between Lunch Break as well as HABCOR and what you provide, and the enthusiasm that I saw Saturday between both organizations. The borough does a lot of serious work, but I think that in the serious work that we do and some of the challenges that you read on some of the blog sites, we also do a lot of good work, which is unknown, but the work that we do pales in comparison to the work that is done day in and day out by our charitable foundations, and including, I say that, the Parker Clinic. And I know that 2 weeks ago, both Councilwoman Schwabenbauer and I were honoring them at their dinner for Dr. Cheslock. And so what the organizations do day in and day out is anonymous in most instances, but is deeply appreciated by the people around the dais and by our residents. And this is just a small token of my appreciation on behalf of the entire committee to both organizations for what you do. So I probably talked too much. So I know that Debbie and Barbara, you've got the checks here. Someplace. We're good.
Yes, it is.
First of all, half-court.
Oh, yeah.
Get the big ones first. Steve, on behalf of Borough, thank you so much. And thank you for all the great work you guys do. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Oh, I better give you the real check. It's signed.
I can't really express how, much gratitude we feel for this. I mean, for those of you who don't know, briefly, HAPCOR, we provide supportive housing for the homeless and those at risk of homelessness. And, we've been in Red Bank for almost 30 years. We started with 5 people on South Pearl Street, and now we house over 200. And, we're not that really sexy kind of charity. In fact, most towns don't really want organizations like ours around. And to have a town that kind of embraces what we do and appreciates it, I don't know what to say. So thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you for coming down. Thank you. We know very much.
It's coming up.
Lunch break. I don't know if we could say much more about lunch break, except you say it all yourself by your wonderful work every day. So on behalf of a grateful municipality and following Norma Todd's great vision, and we miss her very much, as I even said at Dr. Cheslock's dinner, it's great to present $12,000, which is only a small token of our affection for lunch break. So thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of our clients, who include veterans, children, the elderly, the employed, the unemployed, and the underemployed, we are most grateful to the mayor and to the council for this gift. It will go to help innumerable services that we provide to our clients, and we just thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
You left out one thing, and you went through a whole litany of people who use your services, and they're all accurate. You left out 2 other classifications that you also follow,
Yes.
and they're anonymous also. The lonely and the isolated. In addition to subsistence, in addition to employment opportunities and dignity, you also provide companionship for a lot of people who are alone. And they're there not because they have to be there, but you provide the spirituality, the common wonderful mixing of individuals, and that's why a lot of people go there also. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you. It's a community, and it all stems from Gwendolyn Love, who's the executive director. Everything stems from the top in a well-run organization, and she runs the place with love. So who can resist that? Appreciate it.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Last but not least, the small check. But any pennies are good, right? And we got 3 members of the foundation.
Well,
Before? Fourth.
Mark is a new
Mark.
member. He's a new member.
I was wondering, like, why he was guarding the money. I thought, that's why you were standing here. But also, this was started as an embryonic organization to meet a need and accept a challenge. And who knew that it was going to develop the way we have? We have so many different activities coming up, including some gambling, which may or may not be legal.
It's
but
legal.
all
It's
over.
legal. All the rights
There's a
legal.
gambling night coming up, right?
Yes,
Casino
Sep-
night.
30.
September 30th at the Elks on West
She's
Front
very
Street.
good at the craps table.
I am. I always wanted to be a dealer, actually. I think it would be fun.
Next career.
Next career, that's right. I'm accepting this, well, we
Yeah.
all are, on behalf of the Red Bank Borough Education Foundation. We'd like to thank our
Thank you.
mayor and everybody who worked so hard to make the Mayor's Ball such a success. And this will go a long way in helping us to reach our goal of providing funds to the teachers to do special projects, enrichment projects for STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. There are many programs that have been cut because state funding was cut to education. So we are working very hard, and it's great to see the outpouring of businesses, individual residents in that who have contributed to the foundation. So we thank you. This will be well used, and
Not going to roll the dice on $1,000.
no, I want, this is a sure bet, so I'm just going to
Okay.
keep it. I'm just going to keep it. But we'll give that to Barbara.
That's right, yeah, not an elected official. Well, thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
would you like to keep this, Barbara? Barbara, would you like to keep this? Here with the scissors.
Again, I just wanted to restate the wonderful appreciation that I have for all the members of the committee for doing such a great job. So thank you very much. Motion to resume regular order of business. So moved. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, a couple quick items for workshop. The September 13th meeting, I'm asking if anybody has a conflict for moving it from that Wednesday to the Tuesday. September 13th. It's on a Wednesday.
December 14th.
I'm sorry, 14th. My apologies.
Or move to the
Yeah.
first that you do.
The 12th is open also, either Monday or Tuesday. The room is empty. It would be preferable for you with the 13th. Cindy, I know either day is good for you, right?
Well, the EC meets on the second Tuesday, even though.
I was told that they're not
Yeah,
meeting.
so that the meeting, I have to check the calendar.
The two council people that conflict with the 13th over here.
They pretty
So Monday night, how's Monday night?
there's no planning board meeting tonight?
No, there's not.
So. Time is good for, anyone.
Can't do it on the 14th. Let's see.
Thursday's the only meeting.
Zoning board meets on Thursday.
Yeah, on the library board. Monday, that's not gonna
That's correct.
They are on the
Oh, I'm sorry. I stand corrected. Pam made a mistake when she said the EC was not on the calendar.
It was not on our term calendar, but it's proposed to the website, so it is September 13th, it's out, it's at 12. It's the only local day, it's the 14th, this is September 15th, this is zoning board.
You have to speak into the microphone.
So that week, the 12th is open, the 13th is the Environmental Commission, and Thursday, the 15th is the zoning board, so the only night that will be open will be Monday, the 12th.
Let's do that.
I mean, Ed, would you be able to participate by telephone, Ed?
No, it's fine.
Be fine, okay.
It's still
You don't want me to run.
I didn't say I didn't want you to run the meeting. Did I say that?
No, but we're trying so hard.
Mayor, can I make a motion to make it 12th?
I do. Council President can preside, but for the past 27 years, I think as a matter of courtesy, it's, the mayor has a conflict or on something, I have no problem taking the night off, but it's always been granted before. Different days, different players. That's okay with me.
We just said okay with 12, so
And a second, I'm okay with taking.
we're good with 12.
I mean, I don't think it should be a major controversy, so keep it on the 14th. I really don't care. I mean, I'll take the night off. I'll be with Councilman Murphy.
You're more than welcome.
Well, is that a motion?
But just procedurally, there's a motion and a second. If you want to make another motion to table that, we can do that. But right now, there's a motion. That is my, that's my belief. There was a motion for the 12th.
Okay, motion second is roll call, I guess, for the 12th. It's the day of presidential elections, I guess.
Motion the second is to move it to the 12th. Councilman Burnham?
No.
Councilman Ziprich? Councilwoman Morgan?
No.
Councilwoman Schwabenbauer?
Yes.
Councilman Taylor?
Yes.
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
I would be happy to vote yes, but however, let me explain what I'm going to do. As I said before, this is the first time since I've been on this dais in 27 years that the council has not honored a simple courtesy request. And for me to vote yes would mean that I would be helping myself versus trying to do the public good. So as far as I'm concerned, I appreciate the 3 members who agreed to adjourn it. I just think it's courtesy that is extended, but it's not obviously accepted by some people. So therefore, I'm going to ask Councilman Whalen to withdraw your motion. I will be absent.
I won't withdraw. If you want to say no, you can. But I'm going to stand by the motion.
In that case,
Mayor, you've missed meetings before,
I have.
so I don't see the big problem here.
Yeah, the difference is that it seems like everything is contentious around this table on every issue that we do, and I think it's important to have a full component.
It's important for many reasons.
I just don't think that personal issues should interfere with the public execution of duties. So therefore, I appreciate your motion. I appreciate the 3 people on my right who voted to give me the courtesy, but I will, since you're not withdrawing your motion, I'll vote no. Okay? So Councilwoman Burnham, you can preside on the board.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Zoning board letter. The zoning board has requested that we review the digital sign ordinance or prepare some guidelines for digital signs. I have no problem referring it to Councilwoman Burnham for her sign committee to review and make recommendations to council. Any objection?
I have no objection.
Well, obviously you wouldn't.
Well, I mean, you know, I worked 3 years on simplifying the sign ordinance at the request of River Center, and, you know, everybody voted it down, so it's, you know, when Glenn Carter comes back, we will call a meeting and we'll deal with it.
All right, so it's going to be sent to you. No objection to that, all right? Secondly, thirdly, there's going to be just a quick addition. 2 weeks ago, we talked about, we took it off the calendar because there was a miscommunication on, there was a notation that we were going to talk about lunch trucks, and let me just explain what the idea was. The idea was not to have a zoning change for roving lunch trucks. That was never in the cards. The idea was that the council wanted to authorize an RFP for the issuance of 2 permits, at least provisionally, one on the east side and one on the west side. The reference would be someplace in Marine Park for 1 parking space to be allocated for a lunch truck. The other on the west side, probably on Shrewsbury Avenue, to be allocated for a lunch truck or the train station area. And it would be a permit or a license for a year to see how it worked. It would not be moving around, it would not be roving, it would not be in front of, it would not be in the downtown. One would be in the park, one would be either in the train station area or on Shrewsbury Avenue somewhere. So that was the idea. The council wants to consider it. We can sort of circulate it around the zoning officer and the chief of police and the Parks and Rec department and see where we can come up and maybe introduce it on September 13th. Or 14th, whenever I have to. I'll have the night off, I don't care. What's that?
What is the background here, though?
Well,
What is the genesis for this right now?
Well, the genesis, you've got a lot of people asking that Red Bank doesn't do a lot of the stuff that Asbury does, that Long Branch does, that Highlands does. And there's a lot of our residents, if you recall, I mean, I remember reading it on Red Bank Green for 3 or 4 months at a time, that wanted at least the diversity of having a lunch truck. The problem there was that it was going to be a roving lunch truck. So a lot of municipalities give out a license where people would be able to reserve a space. It would be their license. And we're only talking about 2, or maybe even 1, I don't care. But it makes it different. It gets people in the park. If somebody wants to walk in the park and want to have a wrap or a sandwich, you don't want to sit down for 2 hours or 45 minutes. You can do that, sit on a park bench and take it. You know?
Would that be allowed in Marine Park with Green Acres?
Why not?
Well, there are certain
Yes.
regulations.
Yeah, the
Well,
regulations
I'm
are-
asking the question to clarify.
Yeah, well, I'll clarify for you because it came up before on different issues in the park. The clarification is that if we do charge a licensing fee for anything in the park, and it's a Green Acre Park, the fees from that licensing operation have to be specifically allocated for park improvements in our park budget. So that would be a problem. It's come up before.
We did go around a number of years back on food trucks in the borough and the number of ordinances that regulated or barred them from parking and serving.
You gotta speak up, they can't hear you.
So what we're looking to do is discuss the possibility of creating 2 designated spaces for food trucks
That's
to
correct.
operate out of.
That's correct.
Mayor, why don't maybe Mark, the head of the Parks and Rec, and me, the head of parking, why don't us 2 run for this committee, maybe we'll have a meeting about it?
Yeah, that's not a problem. All I'm saying is that, you know, we've talked about it unofficially, and there's been a lot of misinformation because a lot of the restaurants think that this is somebody going to be driving around. It's not that at all. It'd be a fixed, stationary operation if they want it. We might say no. If the bids come in too low, we can say no, but don't forget. The ice cream shop at Riverside Gardens Park is an extraordinary commercial success. And that's the licensing operation that I suggested, and finally the council agreed with it. I think it's a great idea, and they love it. The public loves it.
Somebody suggested having a truck recently?
Yes.
We have, okay.
Oh yeah, no, there's much interest, and by the way, there's the diversity of interest. The biggest problem is going to be, you know, how do we pick and choose?
I don't think anyone's going to be able to compete with Kelly down to Boondocks, so I think the only one that will be on Shrewsbury Ave, but I think we could at least meet about it and see, but that makes sense.
Well, I'd like to invite River Center and I'm moving to Clovis here. Perhaps the new organization would like to participate in the discussions on this. I think it may or may not have an impact on the downtown business community.
And I don't think that's a terrible idea, but neither of those locations are on River Center. I'm open to discussing with the business community at large. I just don't know how complicated we need to make this. I think it should run through committee, parking and Parks and Rec for sure. And since finance and Parks and Rec are the same, we can talk about the financial as well.
Can't hear Beth.
It's going to be referred to his parking committee and Parks and Rec committee, and then they'll invite people from the business community to discuss it with them. Okay? Done. Anything else for workshop? If not, approval of the minutes for August 10th. Motion? Second. All in favor? Any opposed? No mayoral appointments, report mayor, council committee members. Linda?
Just very quickly, and it really relates more to Parks and Rec. Wanted to make people aware that Chan Irwin brought to our attention the opportunity for a grant to help build a floating dock, to do the dine and dock idea that we had spoken about. And I'd like to thank Bill White, Mazer, for getting that turned around very quickly on a short timeline. We got the letter of intent in on time. The full package is due in on August 29th. And when I spoke to Chan about it, he said they actually do turn it around very quickly. So we should possibly know by the end of September whether we qualify for this. So Bill, thank you very much. I know that was very, very challenging to get that large volume of information turned around in the time that she did. So we'll see how it goes. I just want to let people know that was happening. Thanks.
Thank you. Mark?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple announcements for Parks and Rec. 2016 Summer Series is winding down. The last movie concluded on Tuesday. That was last night. And our final jazz performer will be tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Fitness will continue, however, through September. So as long as the weather is good, go out and keep exercising. We do want to again thank all of our sponsors for their support this year. A couple of items to mark your calendars for in September. The first is Saturday, September 17th. The Parks and Rec Department will be sponsoring a concert for kids featuring bands in Riverside Gardens Park. We'll have a suggested donation, and all proceeds will go to the Borough Scholarship Fund, which ensures that all of our kids can participate. If you have a family with multiple kids, or simply are indigent and want your kids to participate, the scholarship quite a few of our kids who can't play otherwise. So this is a tremendous and direct impact on our residents, and especially our children, who want to be able to participate, but otherwise wouldn't be able to. The other day is September 24th, the following Saturday. We're hosting a youth art show called Arts in the Park. It's a chance for our children to showcase artistic abilities in a positive environment. We'll be presenting that with more details to follow. Obviously, you can follow the Facebook page for Parks and Rec, or stop into the office and ask for more details. Lastly, Parks and Rec is also bringing on the intern. Mario Figali is a student at Monmouth University locally here and is pursuing a career in Parks and Recreation. Charlie has a multitude of ideas of how to use them, so we're excited for that. One of the interesting projects that he's talking about is just simply a park usage survey. We'll be standing in the park, asking people how they came to be in the park, what they're doing there, what times they use the park, how we can better utilize our parks. So just getting a database for us to understand how people are using our parks and how we should be looking at our parks going forward. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Michael?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. I'm going to keep it short tonight for once. Just one thing about parking is the Colony House. As many of you know right here, maybe a couple months ago, when a few members of the Colony House came down and addressed their hardship and struggle to find parking on Bottom Place. I had the police chief, Aaron O'Connell, Cliff Dean, head of local utilities, and myself, Bill Wilk, and the parking committee go down there. And we were able to actually measure out, we were actually able to put 3 new spots onto Bottom Place. So the residents came to us and said that they can't find parking at night, and it's a struggle for the people who live there. And we're able to say that we can now put more spots on the street for them. So huge success. They're very happy, and just another effort into helping listen to the residents. So thank you, Mayor.
Great job. Saturday?
Yes, Saturday, Union Hose is having a fire party. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I hope to see you there, Mayor. It's going to be fun.
Flip.
On the 25th anniversary.
100.
125th. 125th. Wow.
You weren't even born yet.
Yeah.
And don't forget the attire.
Yes.
Flip-flops and shorts.
I have my Hawaiian shirt pre-ordered. Yeah, that's what I was told. I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
You compete with Vineyard Vine shorts. Kathy?
Just a little update on the library. Let's see, the Let's Talk About Race program is going to be celebrating a year on Wednesday, August 31st from 7 to 8:30. The Reverend Guild Caldwell from Asbury Park will be at the library to lead a discussion on President Obama's speech, "We are not as divided as we seem." On Thursday, September 1st, between 1 and 3, the second annual oral history presentation will take place, and this is in partnership with Project Right Now. And Elizabeth McDermott, the director, asked me to give a shout out to Sue Viscomi for helping with the videotaping of the oral history program. So thank you, Sue.
That's it, Ken?
That's it.
Okay, Ed?
Thanks, Mayor. The Shade Tree Committee met last night with Riverview Hospital to review replanting on East Front Street, Globe Court, around the Globe Court parking garage, which is undergoing renovations and repairs. The committee will be in touch with the county on matters concerning replanting trees on County Road 10 on Front Street. And the hospital was very cooperative and agreeable to the Shade Tree Committee's recommendations, which was great. It was a good working meeting. The DPW committee met today with committee members Burnham present, and Councilman Taylor was unavailable, as was Engineer White. But in committee, we covered administrative issues, facilities projects, including 75 Chestnut Street, 90 Monmouth Street, the parking lots, the senior center renovations, and the library. We also discussed ongoing improvements to Marine, Count Basie, Riverside, and Eastside Park. And I wanted to compliment Rich Hardy, who has been handling the borough's e-waste containers and his ability to streamline the electronics that the borough is now disposing of in a cost-effective way, especially since Monmouth County has discontinued the free e-waste program that the borough has benefited from over the years. And if you haven't stopped by the recycling center on West Sunset, please notice how good the center looks, because a huge effort has been put into its upkeep by Director Kane and the DPU staff. The committee also covered the ongoing improvements to our roads, wells, water treatment facilities, and our long-range improvement plan on our infrastructure. We had a review and update of a variety of projects by Administrator Sickles, and discussed some personnel matters along with animal control and 15 various capital projects. And Mr. Sickles and Mr. Keene will be following up on with the involved professionals on all matters discussed for action. The Historic Preservation Commission has rescheduled their meeting for next week. And I wanted to wish everyone a safe and happy Labor Day weekend next week.
Cindy?
Thank you, Mayor. The Navesink River Municipalities Committee met last Wednesday, August 17th, which was basically a consortium of towns. We discussed what we are all doing to address the pollution problem in the Navesink. Red Bank, I'm happy to say, Red Bank does have a plan, and you can come to one of our meetings and I can elaborate on that further. I don't want to bore you with it all now, but we do have a plan. It's going to work, I think. We're going along with Clean Ocean Action after they get the feces sniffing dogs. You know, they're going to go around the perimeter of the river. They will detect where they smell human feces. From there, we will go and check that line. We will drop dye into the sanitary sewer to see if there's any leaks, and because that would come out in the storm sewer. So that's what we've been doing there. We are all very anxious to clear up this. And just remember, it's not a blame game. We're not out to blame anybody. Our motto is we just want to find it and fix it. So we don't, you know, there's hot spots all over the river. Red Bank isn't the only one. Last Saturday, I volunteered with Dean Ross, owner of the dog shop, and he was giving away new books to Red Bank school children. He teamed up with Vonage and their foundation, Bridge of Books, and they gave him over 100 books, and all you had to do was be a Red Bank school child, and you could come in and get a book. And after you read the book, you filled out this little piece of paper, you came back in, and you were given a gift card from Kevin Valerio from Strivoli's Lighthouse for free icing. He will also be doing this, Dean will also be doing it again next Saturday at 11 o'clock, which is August 27th. Last Saturday, August 13th, I think it was the hottest day of the year. I did go to the 7th Annual Red Bank Community Block Party. It was still a lot of fun. They had great food and great crafts and great music. but it was hot. Let me tell you, it was really hot, but it was a good time. So that's basically it with me. Thank you.
Thank you. Communications and petitions, request to amend the approval for the August 10th. Request to close Layton Avenue from Locust Avenue to Herbert Street from Saturday the 3rd to Sunday the 4th, 4 to 10 p.m. Motion? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Request from Red Bank Ghost Tours to hold a walking tour on Friday evenings through November 4th, 2016. Motion? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Request from New Jersey Orders to use Ralph Johnny Jazz Gathering Park on Saturday the 10th of September from 10:30 to 3 for student recruitment meeting. Motion? Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Any members of the public have any questions or comments regarding any resolution on the agenda or any ordinance that's on the agenda this evening? There is a public hearing on 2 of the ordinances. If not, motion closed. Second. All in favor? Any opposed? For ordinances, for first reading is an ordinance 2016-17, is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 7 of the traffic regulations for parking prohibited at all times on certain streets. And this is something that we had talked about at the last council meeting, and this deals with from Bodmin Place West, starting at the intersection of Route 35 and Bodmin, extending 385 feet. This deals with the no parking regulation on the western side of Bodmin Place to accomplish what Councilman Whalen has indicated. He's going to be preparing more parking spaces on the other side. Motion to introduce, Michael.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Public hearing, Pam? September 14th at 6:30. Okay. Is the public hearing. The ordinances for public hearing and final adoption, ordinance 2016-13, and ordinance authorizing sandwich board signs. Any members of the public wish to be heard on the ordinance that authorizes sandwich board signs to be adopted? Mr. Myers. Push the bottom. Push the bottom.
Close the window.
After 20 years, I think you'd be used to this.
Hold it, Bill. Push the button and hold it for a second.
Open the window. Close up the window.
See what old age does?
Approach, how people do.
Here.
Here's this one.
Use this.
Turn
It's
around.
on. It's on. I did.
Use both.
Okay, can you hear me now?
No.
No.
Tough crowd. Speak loudly.
So you gotta use the microphone. Try one more time. Push it behind you, won't hear you.
Now? Now?
Okay. This one's works.
That one works?
You didn't push the button.
Okay, all right,
All right,
Brett.
let's go.
All right, a quick question on these sandwich board signs. Are these the sandwich board signs that are going to be on the sidewalks in Red Bank in front of the stores? All right, along those lines, I would just urge the council to incorporate in any ordinance they pass that these signs are not put by the curb or away from the buildings because they interfere with the traffic on the sidewalks. In fact, on many occasions, I think in 2014 when I was on crutches and recovering, and there frequently are people that are disabled for a period of time or permanently disabled, they have a great deal of difficulty negotiating sidewalks that have sandwich board signs on the curb area, tables up against the building, and consequently they got pushed out. And nobody can...
Section 3B.
Okay. So as long as that's addressed so that they have to be up against the buildings, I have no problem. If that's not in there, then it's fine.
Bill, it doesn't require it to be up against the building. It requires a 60-inch clear path.
Well, you're going to have a problem enforcing that because I have spoken to people about it, building owners, smart people that are knowledgeable about all facts that have to do with this issue, and they do not want to move them from the curbs. And you're going to have situations where people are going to go out into the chairs and tables outside. They're going to sit on the outside. They're going to move those chairs over. The sandwich board's going to be in there. You're going to have a problem. And until it's just going to continue to happen until you make them put them up against the building. You're just going to have an enforcement problem. You're going to have an issue with this. I think the mayor addressed it one time and said we have an ADA situation here. I will tell you right now that as soon as you get someone in the legal business who wants to make some money, it's a quick lawsuit, it's a lot of money for the attorneys, and we're going to have problems. And it's just unfair to people who are in wheelchairs. I've seen people in wheelchairs, crutches, and just general public walking out into the street at night, and then people coming in the other direction walking further out into the street to get around this. And that's the only solution is to make him put it up against the building. Thank you.
I work for the council's comment that it will be site-specific because there are various conditions that are recited. But it does require a minimum of 60 inches just to provide that access, so we need to enforce that 60 inches.
Any other comment by the public? Okay, motion to close the public forum. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Mayor?
Motion to adopt. Second? Now you can adopt.
Okay. We would like to change or amend, it says for a 2-year period, and we would like to amend it to a 1-year period for the sandwich boards.
Who's we?
Well, Ed and I were talking
Okay.
about it.
Yeah, when this was first introduced, we had it was a 6-month term on the initial ordinance, and in our conversation, Councilwoman Burnham and I had talked about the difficulties of enforcing some of these issues. So we thought that if we shortened the term through the end of 2017, if in the following year we need to allow this to sunset, it might be a better idea to let that happen. So through
Just a
through
1
the
year.
end of 17.
No, that amendment can be made.
All right, so I just want to ask, what if the issue is enforcement, then what is putting an end change? We could just amend the ordinance if it's not being enforced, whether it's a year, 2 years, or 10 years.
Well, in the event that we can't enforce and these things, continue to obstruct or cause problems, as Mr. Meyer just pointed out, that we might just do away with the allowance of sandwich board signs around town.
We just vote to do that as well. I mean,
We
it's still
understand.
significant.
We understand how important they are to the businesses, we do, but there's been a lot of problems with them, like Mr. Myers had said. A lot of people aren't adhering to the rules or leaving them out all night. They're in the wrong spot. Subway had theirs out in the corner of Monmouth and Broad Street at that intersection. I mean, that's like the most crowded intersection. So, unless River Center is hopefully going to speak to their people, write a letter, and let them know, you've got to adhere to these rules, or you're going to lose the opportunity to have a sandwich board.
If enforcement works, then you would have to revisit it. If it
Right.
doesn't work, the process to correct it is the same process to extend the year or do away with the ordinance. It's still going to be a public introduction and a public hearing, either way.
It's just easier to make it a year.
Well, with all due respect, I have no problem with the change, and it's a minor change, so you can make the change for change's sake. However, Mr. Myers is concerned, and I was joking with him about how many times he's used a microphone, so he should know how to turn it on. But his concern was articulated when there was a wonderful council person sitting in your seat, Madam Council President, and his name was Robert Lafani, and he was head of code enforcement, a wonderful council person, but he had expressed the same reservations about 20 years ago. And in 20 years, we've heard the same complaints, but the same thing about enforcement, or who enforces, who doesn't enforce, and whether violations that we're saying, well, you're going to use it to carry the stick, and we just kick the can down. So if we want to kick the can down for another year or another 2 years, it's really not going to make any difference. As somebody said, you're either going to enforce it or not. If you're not going to enforce it, the sunset clause really has nothing to do with it, because you're going to redo it anyhow. It's been renewed for 20 years.
Yeah, but this time we talked to River Center directly, and hopefully they'll get the word out.
Okay.
Hopefully.
I just don't understand the issue, time period, because the issue is enforcement, not how long it's going to run.
Right, but River Center
I
has
honestly
an
don't know why it is by
obligation.
itself, exactly.
River Center has an obligation to tell the people, what they can and can't do.
That's
When they
enforcement.
come in.
Correct, that's enforcement, it has nothing to do with the time. I just
It
don't
doesn't
understand
have
why.
with enforcement, I mean, that comes with code, and we do enforce. But if the businesses know ahead of time where you can put your sandwich board and what it should be made of, and that it's not supposed to have changeable letters, and it has to come in at night, and we find that that keeps happening, then we'll just end it.
That's enforcement.
Right, so why is it?
And it's enforced by code, which is your committee. Jim at River Center can't enforce. River Center is
He
an
can
enforcement.
let the people know, the businesses know what is allowed.
Okay, let me cut it off. The question is whether or not we can change the ordinance to expire from December 31, 2018 to December 31, 2017. Is there a motion for that change because it's been deemed to be not essential? Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of the change, just the date? Or roll call?
Councilwoman Burnham?
Yes.
Councilman Ziprich? Councilwoman Morgan? Councilwoman Schwabenbauer?
No.
Councilman Taylor?
No.
Councilman Whalen?
No.
Okay, fails. Now we have the ordinance, which makes the sunset clause for December 31st, 2017. Motion to adopt the ordinance as prepared.
So moved.
2018, sorry. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, passes. Ordinance is adopted. Resolutions. Resolution 6. Oh, I'm sorry. Another one. Okay, ordinance 2016-16, which is an ordinance that amends Chapter 7 traffic, and this is regarding the prohibition of a left turn at the exit of Count Basie Park onto Mohawk Lane. Any members of the public wish to be heard on this? Seeing none, motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Burnham?
Yes.
Councilman Ziprich?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan? Yes. Councilwoman Schwabenbauer?
Yes.
Councilman Taylor?
Yes.
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Ordinance is adopted. Resolution 16-221, resolution commemorating the 125th anniversary of Union Hose Company No. 1. Michael.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Resolution 16-222, authorizing tax credits totaling $2,636.58 through the judgments of the tax court. Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution 16-223, awarding a contract to Precise Construction for the Marine Park site and pump station improvements and the Bodmin Place pump station improvements. Motion.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution 16-224, a resolution authorizing the release of 2 performance maintenance guarantees posted by Two River Theater Company. Motion.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Resolution 16-225, awarding a payment of 2015 LoSAP benefits to the eligible members of the Red Bank Volunteer First Aid and Rescue Squad. Michael.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution 16-226, approving the hiring of Kathy Lopresti as Senior Secretary in the Police Department Detective Bureau. Motion.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution 16-227, approving the hiring of Joseph Moody as Police Department Records Clerk. Motion.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution 16-228, approving and authorizing the appointment of regular school crossing guards for the 2016-2017 school year. Motion.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 16-229, approving a special law enforcement officer class 3. Motion. So moved. Second. 2. It says 3. It's supposed to be 2, right? Yeah. It's actually 2, not 3. There is no 3.
I'd like to know, wrong time?
I'm sorry.
I had a question.
It's okay.
Okay.
We're legal on an opportunity.
I'd like to know how many class 2s we have right now.
2.
2?
This is the same two, Councilman. This is,
Oh, the same 2?
yeah, by statute, we have to reappoint them annually. They aren't considered permanent members of the police department, so annually we have to reappoint them. So it's the same two officers, just as the housekeeping, that should be reappointed first.
Okay, thanks, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
16-230. Thank you, Chief. 16-230, resolution to approve the hiring of James Coakley as a part-time backup bus driver. So moved. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I have a question.
Yes.
You should ask the questions after the motion is made, but go ahead.
What bus is he driving?
No, this is he is a volunteer firefighter.
Yes, I know.
And he is services are going to be needed for the senior citizen bus because of a special event, that's all.
He's a driver in the fire department.
Yeah, he drives the
Yeah.
fire
He
truck.
possesses the CDL and passenger endorsement for the bus, and the fire department needs use of the bus, but in order for him to drive it, it's being paid, his cost is being paid by the fire company.
I just wondered what
He has
bus.
to be an authorized driver.
Okay.
That's
Because
all
it
it
didn't
is.
specify the bus that he was driving.
It should be the senior bus,
Okay.
or,
Thank you.
or if the fire department uses it.
Yeah, we only have one, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought, I missed the Greyhound in the parking. I didn't.
Well, who knows?
16-231, a resolution authorizing the submission of a grant application for 2016 Baldwin County Local Grant Program for Count Basie Park and for the structures that we talked about last council meeting. Motion, so moved. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I have a comment. No,
No, she didn't.
I didn't. I'm going to vote yes, but with a comment.
Okay.
And I just think that, again, this is a need, not a want, and at this time, in this juncture in time when everybody's taxes are going up, I just think that this is kind of, this is a matching grant, right, 225?
If we get it, yes.
We get it, right? And I think it's these kinds of matching grants that raise our taxes. So with that said, I will vote yes because it's to shade the children, but I don't feel good about these matching grants all the time.
I agree.
It's a strain on the
It's a need, not a
taxpayer.
want.
Pardon me?
I agree, it is a need, not a want.
Yeah. It is a need.
But if you want to vote no, you can vote no. I mean, you said you don't like it, so why
No,
vote yes?
but it's for the children.
Well, everything is for the children. By the way, there's a lot of seniors who use that park who also would appreciate the camping. So it's not just seniors, as the
No,
children.
I don't know if it's for the seniors. It's a lot of money.
I know you did, yeah. Resolution 232, a resolution adopting the new tax map for Block 63, lots 4, 8, 9, 10, and 10.1. Let me just explain this for a second. No, you don't have it, just came in. I'll tell you what it's all about.
Why is it on the agenda?
Because it's
I thought they had to be in Friday before.
They do. You want to explain it to me? We really don't have to do it, but you're holding up a transaction because of that, because of our own error.
Well, let's find out about it. We don't know what
If
it's
you would have
about.
given me the opportunity to explain it, I would have explained it until you went on your speech. Yeah, go ahead.
There was a change in the tax map. It has been corrected. There is not really a resolution that is needed, in my opinion, but the transaction where the property is being sold, I believe it's the purchaser's attorney is nervous without a resolution, so they have asked for a resolution to be done.
What's the address?
Where's the vote?
This is the property, so that
Zero information on it, but they just vote on it.
Yes, I believe it's 116, 118 Chestnut Street. Did you want to say?
It's the building that used to be Red Bank Yellow Cab. And this is what Gene is explaining, is that our own tax office in the past merged a couple of deeds and gave it a different number. It's the same owner, nothing is changing. It's just that we are changing the tax map to reflect the error that's been removed. As Gene said, we don't have to do anything because the tax map has been changed, but their attorney says that they would like the record reflected that it is legally changed by resolution.
So this is a building.
Yes. Right.
It's a commercial property, it's actually 116-118 Chestnut Street. The owners have bought both 101 Oakland and 116-118 Chestnut. However, the title company found an error in the tax map. So we had to correct that error. It's between two lots. It's a simple little change in the map. The map was sent to the assessor, and he approved the change, and he felt that was it. However, the attorneys asked for some action from the council. So it's really a housekeeping issue. There's no substantial change other than correcting the tax map indication for private property as the borough tax map.
And the tax map has already been changed, which is the province of the assessor. So the resolution will not effectuate a change in the tax map. That change has already been made by the tax assessor making the correction. However, as the mayor had indicated, there's a sale transaction, and for the comfort level of the purchaser's attorney, the request was that the resolution be adopted.
I would ask going forward that if we have something like this that's going to be added at the last minute, that we be provided with supporting documentation so that when we're asked to make a vote, we can do it by reviewing some sort of documentation other than one line on the agenda.
Okay, we're going to have it or not? I guess so, okay. Resolution 16232, motion. Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any objections or abstentions? Nah. I don't think it was necessary to begin with, but that's... Yeah, it was our mistake from the beginning, internal. Resolution 233 is a resolution authorizing payments amounting to $421,350.07. Motion. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any objections? Any old business? Any new business? Audience? Any audience comments?
On what? On the resolutions?
Audience, oh, I finished.
Yeah.
But I've said that before, we were here until 9 o'clock.
William Meyer. With regard to this shade grant that we're getting,
Well, we haven't gotten it yet, Bill. It's an application for it.
But
it authorizes the application. We haven't got the grant.
I just want to understand this. We're talking about approximately $250,000 with a matching $250,000. Is that approximately what we're talking about?
Let me ask Bill to address it.
That is correct.
Okay. It strikes me similar to the concrete water sprinkler park that we were talking about before. I mean, the old days, someone put a sprinkler out in a hose and kids ran through it and it was a $5 item. Then we're talking about $800,000 for that. Now we're talking about $500,000 to put shade up in a park. I mean, really, it does seem to me, whether it's our money in combination with the counties or our money in combination with the state, $500,000 to put shade up really does sound like a waste of money given the tax structure and the situation that people are in today. I mean, it seems foolish. And along those lines, I do, under a separate category, I would like to hear from the people on the board that are, or council that are working on this parking garage, how much money, I'd just like to know, and I know the mayor said I can look it up, but I want to know from them, how much money have we spent in engineering and other costs in furtherance of a parking garage that nobody knows the scope of, the where of, or the details of. I'd like them to let us know. I want to know that they know how much money that they've spent of ours in this endeavor. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Scavone.
Jim Scavone from Red Bank River Center. I have two questions I want to bring up to the council. The first is regarding a letter I sent out, I believe last week, regarding the sale of the firehouse on Mechanic Street. And I would just like to know if there's been any discussion about the idea that was proposed by River Center, or if there is going to be any discussion on that, or if the sale of the firehouse is a done deal.
It's not a done deal, but since it involves property acquisition and/or properties that is within the purview of the borough, it would not be a good idea for the council to discuss that in open session, since am I incorrect in that? I mean, it's really executive session by the council to discuss.
In order to be discussed by the whole council, we need to discuss an executive session.
Okay.
And there is an executive session scheduled for this evening.
Okay. So we would hear back on that after that discussion. Okay. And then my second question is regarding the memorandum of understanding that was drafted between the borough and River Center regarding the Phase 2 study of the White Street lot. We sent an email on July 18th, and we still haven't gotten an answer back on that yet. So we're wondering where that is at, so that my board can vote on whether to authorize that memorandum of understanding.
I think that there may be a change in that, so I don't think I'll get into that.
Okay.
The memorandum of understanding may not be necessary.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
In
And
terms of
then you'll let us know, though.
You and I have had discussions on that. I talked about that 2 weeks ago.
We haven't had discussions since I sent the email.
Okay.
Okay. But you will let us know if the memorandum is changing or not, no longer
Yeah,
necessary?
it's part of legal discussions we're having.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Jimmy Dark, 48 West Sunset Avenue. Mr. Mayor, the question I'm going to ask you, why do we need to have two foremans in the street department?
Councilman Zipper?
Why don't you foreman in the Public Utilities Department?
Yes.
I believe Director Keene can address that issue.
The question is, why two foremen in the street department?
We do have a lot of work. Both foremen are filling a vital role in the community. I mean, I don't exactly know the question you're asking. Do you want to know their daily detail?
Yes.
I think this question is, why is there a necessity of two foremen in one department, right?
I believe
Because back in the day, I
the
think...
reason for a foreman is to supervise others. And the foreman take on different projects. So you have a foreman and employees over here, one supervising the others, and you have a foreman doing projects over there.
I believe at one time there were 5 supervisors. Am I correct about that? And right now there are 3. So we have 3 supervisors and 2 foremen. And that's been a standard practice in Red Bank, having 5 supervisor staff for economics. Am I correct?
No. We're not going to have a debate. Anybody else want to discuss it? Okay. I think he answered you. Anybody else? Mr. Point?
Hello, my name is Damon Murtha. I live on West Street in Red Bank.
Spell your last name?
M-U-R-T-H-A. First of all, I just want to thank everybody for their service. I really do appreciate your time. I've been a part of the community for at least 8 years. I voted for most of you guys who are up here. I just wanted to express a little bit of concern with regarding 2 things. I think there's an expansion going on in Red Bank, and thank you all for being a part of that, especially on the west side. One of them is we have the West Side Lofts and other constructions built, and now being on West Street from going down Monmouth Street, oftentimes there are lights that are out, and it's been a little bit of a challenge. I've written, emailed, and we've called, and other people, I've contacted people, and at times there's been 4+ lights out, and to go from we're building on the expansion on the one side and then go to the other, I just think there's safety concerns, especially with females, and just, at times even I have just coming back and just having a little bit of concern, depending upon, just because it's dark,
It's a legitimate concern, and I've raised that before at the council level. The administrator as well as others have said that we are changing the procedure. My policy, and I know that Councilwoman Morgan is working on this, and I think it's nearing completion, that any citizen, what I would like to see is, I'm sick and tired of either DPW employees or police department going around and supposedly filling out forms that we don't know what happens to them. I would like any person that observes a street light that's out, because I get the complaints, to be able to interact with the with our website and say, I am reporting that a light is out on such and such a street, and then we would have to respond within 24 hours. It's the only way we can do it.
That would be a nice policy, because I've written multiple times but there isn't, I guess, that structure set up, and that's an excellent idea if there was an accountability in a more formalized format.
Give the people the power to do it, because it's
I agree.
I've been dealing with this for 20 years. The same people are talking about the same thing. They notice that the lights are out, it'll take 5 months or something to report.
It literally was that. Even on my block, we've had break-ins, and then it still would be months later.
Right.
And then after repeated concerns.
But because the light was out.
Yeah.
But
Thank you.
that light is on now, right?
That light is on now.
Because you live next to Jim Thomas.
Correct.
Right, and Jim called me, and I called DPW, and we got right on it. I know he had bad luck with...
No, I appreciate that, but we went through a lot of steps before we went to that step.
Yeah, the police department actually just did a comprehensive review, and they, throughout the whole town, they found that 90 lights were out. So you can actually now report it on the police department if the light is out, and then it'll be addressed.
So is that
On
then...
On the police department website.
All right, so that would be a bit of the protocol then, to go for more to the police department if the light's out.
I called the council person too.
Right, yeah, just they have it set up.
All right.
It is set up on the website, instructions how to report lights out. Make sure that was on there. The last time that I visited, I read the poll and called Casey Email back before next phase. We go on the website, the instructions for the call. If you don't have that problem, you call downtown administrator's office. I'll personally file it with an email on the new website will have a direct link on how to report these lights. That should be up and running, hopefully within 30 to 60 days.
I definitely do appreciate that. I mean, even later on tonight, on my walk back when it's dark, there's going to be multiple lights out. So I just
And I'll
wanted to
give you my
express
card
that.
at the break.
Thank you.
And you can email me, and I'll make sure we track those lights and send you to ACP.
Thank you very
It's
much.
actually set up right now, so you can start doing that.
And we had a problem from like 51 Monmouth Street down to Maple Avenue. There were like 4 lights that
Yes.
were out recently, and I reported those, and I know Cliff, is Cliff still here? And Cliff, why were those lights out?
There was an electrical problem. The electrician has been on Monmouth Street, Shrewsbury Avenue. We've spent a lot of money trying to maintain these lights. There are certain things that need new electric wire to come on, and the cost is a little bit higher than we anticipated. So those have been taken care of recently, and if they're out still, we'll go back there and check them all to make sure I drive around before I leave town.
I do appreciate that. And now back to electricity, the second concern was with regarding JCP&L. I wanted to say I thank you guys that you guys were against the project that is going on. And I know towns are kind of coming together because there's a next step process.
There is, and there's ongoing discussions. Again, the focus group is actually Mayor Schroffenberger in Middletown, myself, the Mayor of Homedale, Aberdeen.
Yes.
And, no, Keyport. No.
Now, Aberdeen, Hazlet, Middletown.
Aberdeen,
Homedale.
Hazlet, Middletown, Red Bank, yeah.
Yeah. And I know a bunch of the towns are coordinating an effort to fight, and it's going to the next step of legal action.
Well, there has to be a review first, and part of that is an engineering assessment and analysis. The towns are negotiating in terms of, obviously, it's not going to be an equal sharing.
Correct.
Of the
I agree.
obligation, because again, the bulk is going to be Hazlet.
I agree.
Middletown, and Aberdeen and Red Bank were on the sort of bookends at the end. So that's something we have to figure out with Bob, but we have been coordinated pretty well.
All right. All right, thank you. Because I think this project is definitely something that's detrimental to our town and the expansion. I mean, how are we going to go to a Sickles Market on the corner underneath huge 140,000 power boat lines at the same time? It's really going to be a huge financial impact, so I appreciate the town being part of the fight. And thank you all for your help. Thank you.
Yes, miss.
Hi, I'm Nicole Urbach. I'm David Murphy's wife, and I also wanted to say that I appreciate your name. Nicole Urbach, U-R-B-O-N-T. And I want to say I appreciate all of your service as well, and I appreciate you opposing JCP&L's reliability project. And we live within eyesight of what's going to happen. And I think the whole town would be overshadowed by that project. And it would be very, very sad because we've seen so much development. I came to Red Bank because of my husband and because of the job here. I love this town. It's a wonderful community, and I love the work that everybody does here. I love being able to walk into the shops and know the people that work there live here, and everybody's part of such a great community. But I don't love what this is going to do to the expansion that's happened in our area and to the environment of our town.
Thank you.
So thank you for your support.
What's your address?
The same as her husband.
The same as my husband.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, let's go.
I just want to make that clear, you know?
Thank you.
Anybody else? Mr. Kuo, is that a hand for contemplating? No? Yes, Todd.
Okay. Just before Tom comes up, Kathy, do you know if the IT department is looking at with the website redesign and the ability for citizens to report outages, will that link automatically to JCP&L? Because most of the issues are JCP&L rules. They're not Red Bank issues. It won't link to them directly. Is there any
That's
way
a good
to
question, I'm not sure, but we're going to have meetings very soon, in the next week or so, and that will be, I'll ask.
It's one thing for family to respond in 24 hours, and another thing for JCP&L to be notified. that it's
Right,
there.
that's a good point, Mark.
The information to send it to JCP&L is already online. We put that up, made sure that was there with the link and the, how to do that. However, if they've done that and they haven't gotten a response, then there'll be instructions to notify us, to send it to us, which will have a follow-up and track the follow-up from our end. And we have numbers other than the hotline to call, that we would say, hey, this was reported, please look into it and take care of it.
I think that's a great service to the residents. Thanks.
Mr. Lebetti.
Good evening, Tom Lebetti, 45 Elm Place. By the way, I've known Damon and Nicole for a long time. I encourage everyone to get to know them. Super people. I have a question about Resolution 16223. That was one we passed earlier. And my question is more about the process. Maybe you could tell me about that. We borrowed $2.1 million, or we're spending $2.1 million on this. Do we know, did that come in above what our engineer estimated it would be?
Yes.
Do you know, I think it was like 15% higher.
The engineer's estimate was done in 2013, and since that time, there were some changes not only in cost, but in materials, and some of the scope was changed. So, you know, the bids came in, and the low bidder is, the responsible bidder is Precise Construction, and the estimates were higher than the engineer's estimate.
Is that, are we budgeted for that, or do we have to take out more money, or is that something totally different?
What the bond, what this ordinance did, what the ordinance that was passed last meeting was an amendment to adjust the price for the Marine Park work, but also our engineer estimates came in higher for the replacement of the roofs of these two buildings due to damage and the siding. Again, the storm was in 2012. The estimates were done in 2013. Since that time, there's been additional damage, and the work has progressed where we need to amend the bond based on the current estimates.
So you're comfortable with the job the engineer did, it's just a timing issue. The reason I asked that is because I brought up some suggestions before Linda of where you can look and pick and choose some things. I took a look at the engineer's estimate and I tried to like Google some of these items. And I noticed for one, the engineer had estimated $30,000 for the flagpole.
And it's 13.
It came in at 13. I was able to like look around on Google. I found it shipped here from Michigan for 9. All I'm saying is that if that's a flagpole where we were so far out of whack between the engineer's estimate and what we're actually paying, you may want to, this is a policy where you may want to ask when we have one of these estimates to have department heads spot check a few items. I'm sure there were other things that were.
I'm going to ask you a question about it. So the flagpole you found is $9,000?
Yes.
Okay. How do you get it up?
Well, is the $13,500 include construction?
Okay, good question. What you're missing out is something else, and you wouldn't know.
I'm just asking the
about
process.
that, but anytime a municipal entity, such as the Borough of Red Bank, has to put out a public project or bid, they have to follow certain specifications which drives the prices up. We just can't call up and say we're going to order something from Michigan. We have to go through the bidding process. Public projects cost on the average about 20% more.
Okay, so that's acceptable then.
Well, that's a differential.
Some bidders will include the labor in the cost of the flagpole. Some people will list the flagpole for the price of the flagpole, not the installation. They put the installation in another part.
Please I didn't speak against the resolution. I'm just asking about the process. I see possibly a way that we could do things a little bit better, and I'm just suggesting something. That's all. Mayor, I may have another question, but would you like me to follow up later, or?
No, whatever. Go right ahead.
Let's see. About our nonprofit hospital. I noticed that this week the parent company had announced that their merger has been successful. They had a press release. They've, from doing this merger, have gained a 2.2 step credit rating, so the merger has gone well for them. In reading that article, I read that they are expecting to do something like $4 billion in revenues this year, so that's good for the hospital, good for them. I also read earlier this week that some towns that have sued for property tax appeals are settling. And I would think it would be advantageous for us to settle, especially since I spoke to the tax court. I think 5 of our cases are up before the judge on September 28th. So we don't have a long window there, I would think.
Those are case management conferences. They're not trial days.
Okay.
And the question that you have is an extraordinarily good one. It's also a question which I fielded with the Two River Times this week, and in-depth analysis of that. However, I can't give you an answer on that, and I'll tell you why. Not because I want to be evasive, but coincidentally enough, I did discuss this at about 5:30 with our borough attorney in terms of a legal procedure that we are doing in conjunction with that. But the date that you make reference to is what is not an unknown type of date. It's known as a case management conference, just to see where you are with these various things. So it's an opportunity for the attorneys to either discuss or schedule dates for other things to happen. But
it wouldn't
our attorney and I spoke, and there's going to probably be a resolution in terms of a further proceeding on that very soon, but it's a legal matter, so I really can't discuss it in an open forum until it's resolved.
One last thing.
But we are proceeding with it. As a matter of fact, like I said, we had a meeting this afternoon as soon as she came back from May.
One last piece of advice. I think when we talked back in May, I was told that we didn't do a true property assessment on their properties because it wouldn't make sense.
You mean on the hospital property?
Yes.
Well, that's correct. There's not been an in-depth analysis because to do that on a property like that, again, having some familiarity with the tax court, you'd have to retain an appraisal, an appraiser to do an appraiser, but there's, in this state, I would say there's only about 5 or 6, if even that many, who are competent enough to do the type of appraisal on the specific type of use in property, which is what a hospital is, based on that new court decision that came down. So when the tax court came up with the formula, even though we have an assessor, he's not competent to do that. We have appraisers that we use on some of our commercial properties. They would not be competent to do the analysis. There's only about 5 people, maybe less than that.
It sounds like a very monumental.
Yeah, so we're trying to avoid all of that, but we're also trying to make sure we have the empirical data that if we're going to settle like the other towns, we at least have some parameters for what is fair and reasonable.
That's why I agree. So in our budget, we put a line item of $90 million as the total property assessment, so that we, the taxpayer, can know, this is the pilot they're paying, and we say that they're worth $90 million, it's in the budget. And this is what they really would pay if they paid their true taxes. I'm just saying to you that that $90 million number came from somewhere, and it's way, way, way too low.
I agree.
And as you negotiate, I would say that number should probably be changed.
Okay. I wish you had gotten your doctorate in appraisal science. Might be able to use you.
I'm learning so much when I get my tax check.
We might have saved a couple of bucks.
I think that was, there was something else, but I'm going to let it go. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Tom. Thanks, Tom.
Mr. Boyd.
From 65 Shrewsbury. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I want to thank you for the pond.
Thank you.
I think they could have done a better job than that. But
We're working on it.
They cut it. The other thing is, Mr. Guthrie on Shrewsbury Avenue, next to my aunt's house. When Gary Washington was in there, I mentioned that whole light was busted down by a car. They came and put a cap over top of it. So last week he seen the people was working on the lights on Shrewsbury Avenue, and he tried to get the guy's attention. There's no light there. There's a box been broken off. The thing was broke, but there's power there because they put a cap over it. He wanted to know, are they going to fix that? He told me to bring it up tonight. Are they going to fix that or leave it like that? It's on Shrewsbury Avenue and Drummond.
It's on Drummond and Shrewsbury, yeah. So is that in the work order for replacing? But yeah, I thought that they were going to replace it. The cap was temporary because of the accident, but it has to be replaced. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know because I know they've been fixing the lights down further.
No, it's got to be replaced.
So
Yeah.
he just told me to mention that. The other thing is, Mr. Sipples, I want to thank Carl Ashton and Donnie and Bobby Holiday for the job they've done for the block party.
Thank you for saying that.
They've done a beautiful job. It was hot that day, for Saturday. It was very hot, but they've done a beautiful job. And I just want to thank them for that.
Thank you.
The other thing is, Mr. Mayor, you're the mayor in this town, and it's a shame that a lot of issues have to come in front of you to deal with.
That's why I get paid $7,200 a year.
But it's just, I walk the street, I'm walking a little better now. And I do a lot of walking now. And you can't stop guys from talking to me. But a couple of guys came to me. And I seen it myself. We talk about the safety of these trucks in Red Bank for these kids.
You mean our borough trucks?
Yes.
Okay.
And they've been brought up several times because...
And you brought that issue up before.
Yeah, and so I'm pretty sure the chief of police have a tape, because everything you say here goes over there and tape, so you can go back and get the tapes. But I brought the issue up several times, and I know Mr. Zipper said they have a sheet to fill out. Well, the understanding I got last week, they are filling these sheets out daily. And one guy said, Freddie, the truck don't have no horn on it, air horn, don't have a horn. If a kid or something pull out in front of me, I can't blow the horn to get their attention. I'm going to have to hit them or whatever. I'm pulling the sheets out. My question to you, Mr. Mayor, as a mayor, why we can't see that somebody have to sign off on those sheets? If we have a director in here doing his job, sign off on those sheets that vehicle is fixed, or that vehicle is not fixed, it's unsafe. The other day I was on Tilton and River Street, and we had the big garbage truck picking up brush. The guy actually stopped. The whole front tire, boom, 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 boom. I said, that's unsafe. If the DOT will see that, this truck will be out of service. You have kids running around here, playing, and you driving like this here, Freddie, the sheets goes in the office, it sits there. You come in tomorrow, you pull another one out. It sits there. Why are we complaining when we run for council? Oh, I'm concerned about the safety of the kids around here. When you have Burrowville, it's not safe to drive these streets. The other issue I have, Mr. Mayor, is this. I understand it's not a shouting matter, but when the young man say why you have two foremen, we always had one foreman for the sanitation department and for the street department. For some reason, you don't have the sanitation no more. Because there's no need for two foremen in the street department. That was the question he asked me. Not only me, a lot of other people, as I'm lying, Jimmy, ask the same question. We see one guy with 3 barrels on a brand new pickup truck. All he do is ride around. He can't do nothing but pick up bicycles and metal. What are we paying this guy? When you put in here, you need a backup for senior citizens. I mean, come on, we gotta work together. And I'm pretty sure you have an office, y'all have an office. If a secretary come in your office and sit there all day, you gonna pay her just to sit there? When you go ask for a piece of paper, she ain't got it ready for you? What are we paying these guys for? I mean, you know, I'm serious. We're trying to keep up with other towns, Tip Falls, Asbury. We're trying to, but look at their department. Everybody's working together. You got a lot of guys, Mr. Miller, is upset because they out here busting their hump. When they see one, I'm not knocking no name, when they see one guy riding around all day with 3 barrels on the truck, and they out here busting their hump. That's a shame.
Mr. Kane is here this evening. I'm not going to ask him to respond, but I will say something publicly right now. You've made this complaint before. I thought administratively it was being dealt with. Probably is. Nobody has reported back to me. I am directing Mr. Kane that before the end of Thursday, I want to see, because it's public documents, I want to see the inspection reports for the vehicles, that there are monthly reports for the past 3 months, and I want him to meet me Friday morning. And I will report back to you. You're entitled to an answer.
Thanks, Grant.
Anybody else? Yes, Tom.
Good evening. My name is Tom Capello, and I understand about a month ago there was a discussion about food trucks in Marine Park.
I know, Tom, you came in late, but however, the council has reviewed it in workshop. The council has directed that we come up with a plan. It's been referred to 2 council people to come up with a plan, probably by the next council meeting, in terms of possibly licensing 2 particular spots in 2 different parts of town to address the food truck and perhaps licensing that. So we did talk about it. There was consensus by the council.
Okay, so what does that mean?
It means that they like the idea, I think. Although I've said that before, and I don't know.
So the parking committee, and which is myself, and Parks and Rec, which is Mark, well, we're going to meet and go over this. To Mary's point, it could be 2 or it could be 0. But we brought it to the council. We felt like we should address it in the proper committees. So we'll meet with that over the next 2 weeks, and we'll come back with a plan. If when we talk with Jim or the Red Bank Business Lines, whoever it may be, we'll get the concerns of everybody. And if it turns out that it's not a good idea, we won't do it. And if it's a good idea and it can work between the whole community, then we will. But it's more about an open discussion than it is saying this is what we're going to do.
But I'm confused. So the open discussion is in closed doors, or it's out here?
It's through the committee, so it's brought up to the mayor, and the mayor brought it up in workshop, which was right before you came in.
Is it behind closed doors, or is it in open?
It'll be a committee meeting, so the parking committee.
Is it in this environment, or it's behind some door where no one else is going to hear what you got to say?
It's going to be in the kitchen.
Huh?
I said it's going to be in the kitchen.
The parking committee or parks committee, because there were proposed locations in the parks, will discuss it in committee, and you come back to the council with recommendations in public, and then the council takes the answers, yea or nay. They don't have to go with the committee report. They may like the committee report. There may be some things the committee brings up that the council didn't know about. So that's how it works. The committee reviews it. They prepare a recommendation to the council, and it comes back to the public.
I just thought I would just speak about the attributes of doing something in Marine Park.
You could do that now.
That's why I came.
Couldn't you do that now? Just speak about the attributes?
You know, you can talk about it. Yeah.
Okay, so
That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the reasons why I think it'd be a good idea, because nothing has been done.
Tom, could you approach the
I'm sorry.
microphone because they can't hear you back?
Can I pull this in?
Sure, Bjorn. So close.
One of the reasons why I think the food truck idea is twofold. One, I own one. And the other thing is, nothing has been done in Marine Park since I set foot in Red Bank since 1999. I'm looking at the logo, the river center is called River Center, but nobody does anything about the river. They call Red Bank the jewel of the Navasink, and it's like an abandoned child. If you go down to Riverside Garden Park, and if you're fortunate enough to stay at the light, and you're stuck in traffic, and you take a look to your left, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful. Nobody uses the park. Why? There's nothing to do there. Marine Park, since I'm here since 1999, there's been nothing been done. There's a piece of sidewalk that's elevated like this, and then if it's dark, you're going to trip and kill yourself. And that's been like that since the year 2000, because that was the first time I did a River Fest. There should be stuff going on in the park. There should be water activities. There should be a dock where people can put their boats in. It should be a summertime happening place where you would take people from all over just to come to Marine Park, enjoy the river, enjoy the sun, enjoy all the water activities, and do something with this park that's been neglected. You have tennis courts there that got ruined like Sandy. It's a total eyesore. I'm not saying put tennis courts back. They go to Seabright. They got beautiful courts. It's right down the street. But do something with it. I mean, just pave it, put some flowers in it, put dirt on it, or whatever. Just don't leave it like that. It's just been neglected. There's no focus on it. Nobody goes there. It's not lit right. And if you would put food trucks down there, not one or two or three, whatever you guys think, I think there should be a variety of them. I think it should be a picnic area there. I think it should be open from whenever the park is open, from the morning till dusk. That's when these parks close, correct? All over the country? They got signs all over, right? Pretty standard. And if you do something like that, light it up with some picnic tables there and have some water activities, and it doesn't cost a lot of money. And by taking the first step, you can see what may happen. Then other things may happen because you see, wow, look at all these people coming down here. Maybe we can do some balloon rides. Maybe we can do this. Maybe we can do that. Maybe we can put a hockey rink in Riverside Garden Park in the wintertime. Maybe we can get crew teams, all the high school teams, all the college teams come down the river and do their practices and have their tournaments instead of using the Schuylkill in Philadelphia. Why not the Navasink? It's beautiful. You have hotel space. You have everything that a town had, but nobody utilizes it. It can be something that is so simple. The river's there. It's been there for hundreds and hundreds of years. You need to utilize it. And the food truck is just one small way to bring people down there, to open people's eyes and say, what if? Look at this. Look how nice this could be. It's a vision that I've been thinking about for many, many years, because I used to be on the boardwalk in Seaside Heights. For 12 years, I had 4 stores over there, and the most important thing was the ocean and the sun. You didn't need any advertising. That's all you needed. Nobody advertised, nobody spent money on coupons, nobody did any of that nonsense. It was the water and it was the sun. You have those 2 ingredients, and it's a success. Look at any restaurant that's on the water. The food can be terrible, the service could be terrible, but you got that view and it's busy. All I'm saying is that it's a home run, and you should think about it very seriously and utilize it for the good of the people who live in Monmouth County and in Red Bank. Thank you.
Tom, I appreciate that, and I do want to say the first step has been taken. It's to improve the infrastructure and the security down there. We actually referenced it earlier in the meeting. The improvements to Marine Park for security, for the electrical system, for the pump out station, for floodproofing, that award that project is coming. It's already been moved through this council, And the second step then, actually earlier in the meeting, Linda talked about a transient dock that would allow for dock and dine as an option. That we put in a bid for a grant that would help us maybe bring that to that area as well. The next step then is to step back and take a look, as I've said now for 2 years, to take a look at the entirety of Marine Park, not just a single segment. So I've said that a few times, not only prior to being on the council, but now being on the council, and as the chair of the Parks and Rec Department, it is something we're absolutely looking at to increase the activities and the ability of access to the water activities, and just overall usage of the park. So that is definitely something that is happening. The wheels are in motion. The first step is to get the infrastructure improvements done, so we can then go forward and not rip something up that we just put in case we change, the design or the idea that we want to put in.
But wouldn't you have to have a plan in place before you put in electric and plumbing?
You do have plans. We have plans for that work, and the contractors are working that. That work will be underway, hopefully within the next 60 days to start with. And so we'll be under construction for, let's say, the next 6 months. But the next phase, and which the committee is still working on, is now let's look at the park for the next phase. Phase 2, all right, what does the community want to see there? All your ideas, like the other committee, get the community involved, maybe have a meeting down there, have people walk it, take a look at it, give us some suggestions, and the committee can get some direction and take it from there so that we have a shared vision going forward with the next phase.
And Tom, to one of your points you made, I went to Christian Brothers Academy and I actually rowed on the crew team, and we actually did launch into the Navigation. So we did row down there, and it was unbelievable. I'd love to see more schools participate. Because it was beautiful to row out there. You see
it's easy. I mean, to invite schools to come down here. It's really pretty simple.
Well, Tom and I were on a committee, how many years ago was that, Tom? 10 years ago? And we were supposed to get things going on the river. We were going to start the skiff races again, and we thought about water skiing events, and we had all kinds of things going on, but I forget why that fell apart.
I'll just say all the options are on the table, so we haven't taken anything off the table. We are looking at everything. We're gonna bring in a consultant that will help us, and we also just hired we're bringing on an intern from Parks and Rec to do a survey for how people use the park, so we get a better understanding of how our residents and our visitors are using our parks and what they'd like to see down there.
Mark, will we know when these people are down at the park so we can alert the public to go down?
I haven't checked it. I can check with Charlie if you want to schedule when the intern's going to be down there. Sure.
That would be great, because then we can get, let people know to go down there.
I think part of it is just to kind of do it informally, so people are just in the parks naturally, rather than forcing 200 people to show up and bombard this guy with information. But there's an element to that where we can, any resident or visitor wants to ask for a form or something, we'll provide that for sure. You can post your comment on the Facebook page, however, show up to the office and drop off the information or your thoughts. We're happy to accept all that information. So
we're actually doing both. We're going to have the intern do the everyday use, just people every day, what they're doing, and then we're going to have the public gather and see what people would like to see there. That's not there.
And when is this going to commence? When is the intern going to be collecting this data?
I'm not sure of the start date. The Parks and Rec committee just
approved it. Because the only reason I asked the question is, the season's changing, and next weekend's Labor Day, park usage will change. Young people go back to school and back to college and so on and so forth.
This is from Lubbock University's and her college student, no charge to the borough.
And I have one question too. Linda, question about this grant. Is this a matching grant again?
I don't think so. Do you know? I don't think it is.
It is to a degree. To a degree. Maximum.
We'll get you the details on this.
The maximum
is
200,000. So would be responsible for 100,000.
Well, it depends on what the cost is, right? It may not be that much. I don't think it actually is. We'll get you the details.
We just have to get the application in. We have a very tight window for that, so he's that we know if we're going to be running for that, we can also provide the council the rest of the public with that information.
Okay. Any of the members of the public have any questions? If not, we have to adjourn to executive session for purposes of discussing personnel issues and contracts. We will be returning, however, no formal action will be taken. Possible. I don't think so, based upon the comments I heard earlier in the meeting, because the council wants to see everything in advance. Okay. I don't think we'll be taking action, but with the possibility we can, we'll leave that open. Okay, motion to adjourn? Second? All in favor? Aye. Thank you.